Question 1. A company requires that its critical e-commerce database can tolerate no more than 15 minutes of data loss and must be fully operational within 2 hours of a disaster. Which two recovery objectives are most directly addressed by these requirements? Option A. Recovery time objective (RTO) of 15 minutes and recovery point objective (RPO) of 2 hours. Option B. Recovery point objective (RPO) of 15 minutes and recovery time objective (RTO) of 2 hours. Option C. Recovery point objective (RPO) of 15 minutes and recovery point objective (RPO) of 2 hours. Option D. Recovery time objective (RTO) of 15 minutes and recovery time objective (RTO) of 2 hours. The correct answer is recovery point objective (RPO) of 15 minutes and recovery time objective (RTO) of 2 hours. Here's the explanation. RPO, recovery point objective, defines the maximum acceptable data loss, 15 minutes, while RTO, recovery time objective, defines the maximum acceptable downtime, 2 hours, before recovery is complete. Question 2. A system administrator needs to back up a large dataset daily. To minimize storage space and backup time after the initial full backup, they want to only copy data that has changed since the time's last backup of any type. Which backup type is most suitable for this requirement? Option A. Full backup. Option B. Differential backup. Option C. Incremental backup. Option D. Snapshot. The correct answer is incremental backup. Here's the explanation. An incremental backup copies only the data that has changed since the time's last full or incremental backup, making it highly efficient for minimizing storage and time after the initial full backup. A differential backup copies changes since the time's last full backup. Question 3. According to the shared responsibility model in cloud computing, which aspect of backup and restore strategies is primarily the customer's responsibility? Option A. Ensuring the underlying storage infrastructure for backups is durable and available. Option B. Providing physical security for the data centers where backups are stored. Option C. Configuring backup policies, managing retention, and regularly testing restore procedures. Option D. Maintaining the operating system, network, and virtualization layer of the backup service. The correct answer is configuring backup policies, managing retention, and regularly testing restore procedures. Here's the explanation. The shared responsibility model dictates that the cloud provider is responsible for security of the cloud, infrastructure durability, physical security, while the customer is responsible for security in the cloud, which includes configuring their backup strategies, defining retention, and validating recovery. Question 4. According to the shared responsibility model, which of the following is primarily the customer's responsibility when securing a cloud-hosted database? Option A. Physical security of the data centers. Option B. Security of the underlying cloud infrastructure, e.g., hypervisor. Option C. Configuration of data encryption, IAM policies, and network security groups. Option D. Ensuring the global availability of the cloud database service. The correct answer is, quote, configuration of data encryption, IAM policies, and network security groups. Here's the explanation. The cloud provider is responsible for the security of the cloud, physical security, infrastructure, hypervisor, while the customer is responsible for the security in the cloud, which includes configuring data encryption, IAM policies, network security, and application security for their specific database instances. Question 5. Which two fundamental pillars are primarily discussed as core to database security in cloud environments? Option A. Load balancing and auto-scaling. Option B. Content delivery networks, CDNs, and serverless functions. Option C. Encryption and identity and access management, IAM. Option D, virtual private clouds, VPCs, and direct connect. The correct answer is encryption and identity and access management, IAM. Here's the explanation. The study material explicitly states that database security in the cloud revolves around two critical pillars: encryption, for data confidentiality, and identity and access management, IAM, for controlling who can access and what they can do. Question 6. A security architect is designing access controls for a sensitive database. They want to ensure that users are only granted the minimum necessary permissions required to perform their job functions. Which IAM principle are they implementing? Option A, multi-factor authentication, MFA. Option B, attribute-based access control, ABAC. Option C, principle of least privilege. Option D, federated identities. The correct answer is principle of least privilege. Here's the explanation. The principle of least privilege dictates that users or services should only be granted the minimum necessary permissions required to perform their specific functions, thereby reducing the potential blast radius of a security breach. Question 7. A development team is designing a new financial application that requires strict data consistency and atomicity for all transactions, ensuring that funds are never lost or duplicated. They also need to perform complex joins across multiple tables for regulatory reporting. Which database type and consistency model would be most appropriate? Option A, document database with base consistency. Option B, relational database with ACD consistency. Option C, key value store with eventual consistency. Option D, graph database with base consistency. The correct answer is, quote, relational database with ACID consistency. Here's the explanation. Relational databases with their SQL querying capabilities and ACID properties, atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, are specifically designed for applications requiring strict transaction integrity and complex joins, such as financial systems. Question 8. A global social media platform needs to store user profiles, posts, and comments. User profiles can evolve frequently with new attributes, and data retrieval often involves fetching an entire user's profile or a specific post with all its comments. Schema flexibility and horizontal scalability for read-heavy workloads are critical. Which database type is best suited for this use case? Option A, relational database. Option B, key value database. Option C, document database. Option D, graph database. The correct answer is document database. Here's the explanation. Document databases, like MongoDB, DynamoDB with Document API, offer flexible schemas, which is ideal for evolving user profiles and semi-structured data like posts and comments. They are also highly scalable for retrieving entire documents and handling read-heavy workloads. Question 9. An online gaming platform uses a relational database to store player scores and game states. The application experiences extremely high read traffic, especially during peak hours, but writes are less frequent. To improve read performance and scalability without significantly altering the core database structure, which strategy should be implemented? Option A, implement vertical scaling by upgrading the existing database server's CPU and RAM. Option B, migrate to a key value store to handle all read and write operations. Option C, utilize read replicas to offload read queries from the primary database instance. Option D, implement sharding to distribute the database across multiple independent servers for both reads and writes. The correct answer is, quote, utilize read replicas to offload read queries from the primary database instance. Here's the explanation. Read replicas are a common strategy for relational databases to improve read scalability by allowing read-heavy traffic to be directed to separate synchronized copies of the database, reducing the load on the primary instance. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel